Everybody, welcome back. We're in for another treat. Now we're going into the West Coast metal explosion of 1985. We're going to revisit an old Hip Prager magazine. This is Hip Prager magazine, released March of 1985. 1985 was a very special year in 80s metal. The heavy metal scene was exploding. You had Dokken, you had Rat, Bon Jovi, you had Dio, you had Van Halen, Judas Priest, Scorpions, Motley Crue, Def Leppard. You had Rough Cut. 80s metal was beautiful in 1985. You had Queensryche. You had Twisted Sister. Anyways, 1985 was amazing. So this issue is the West Coast metal explosion with Motley Crue, Rat, Black and Blue. I love Black and Blue. Queensryche, Armored Saint, Wasp, Quiet Riot. Alright, so we're going to revisit this issue. This issue has it all. So if you're a fan of metal, you're going to enjoy this episode. Alright, I'm Tony. You're here at KGTR. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. We're going to flip through this magazine, reminisce, goof on, comment, and any questions, comments, or feedback you have, leave them below, and we'll see if we can answer them. Alright? Let's get to it, and let's enjoy what this issue had in store for us back in 1985. If you were around, you may have this issue, you may remember this issue, but this issue basically is a time capsule of 80s metal in 1985. Let's check it out. Alright, so right here we have a beautiful cover of Hip Prager. Look at Tommy Lee and Robin Crosby. So look, Tommy Lee and Robin Crosby of Rat and Motley Crue. West Coast metal explosion. It was the Strip, Hollywood Boulevard, the Sunset Strip. You had bands coming out of there because of who? Van Halen, Quiet Riot. You had Randy Rhoads playing there. Eddie Van Halen. You had George Lynch. You had all these bands just, inching their way, pushing each other for top billing, trying to get discovered, trying to get signed, trying to get the most crowds, anything for the record producers, record labels to just sign you and then start doing your thing. So we're going to cover this issue. Let's check what's inside of it. This was released March of 85. Alright, so here we have is Raven. Alright, a nice Megaforce Records, Raven. I don't remember any band named Raven, but apparently they were trying to push Raven in this issue. So here we have Hip Prager. We got, my God, my memory's bad. You got Motley Crue right here. Stephen Pearcy right there. You got Black and Blue right here. So you got Vince Neil right there, and this right here. Look at this hair. This is total Black and Blue. I love Black and Blue. Such posers, but they were good. Black and Blue. Check out Black and Blue. Hold on to 18. Total bubblegum heavy metal pop, but it was good. It was heavy metal, but it was just really good. Hold on to 18. And it was heavy at the time. It was heavy, but it was good. Never Autograph. Autograph with Steve Lynch. And apparently, the people at Van Halen camp told Steve Lynch not to do double hand tapping or something like that. I guess that really happened. But Eddie Van Halen says, do your own thing, dude. I don't care. So Eddie was totally cool with it. But I guess other people thought that Steve Lynch did double tapping better than Eddie. And they didn't want to steal his thunder. But that's a story for another video. How Steve Lynch blew away Eddie Van Halen with the two-handed tapping. Or was doing it before Eddie Van Halen. And but obviously Eddie revolutionized it with Eruption. And so anybody who did it, oh look, you're copying Eddie. But Steve Lynch is like, no, I did this 10 years before you, Eddie. That's what Steve Lynch was saying. I did this 15 years before you, Eddie. So who knows? You have to look it up. Alright, what we got here? Kiss, Call of the Wild. Kiss, 1985. Lick It Up. Remember Creatures of the Night with their makeup? And then Unmasked. And then Lick It Up. Lick It Up. That was 84 or 83. I forget what year it was. But Kiss. Or Animalize. Kiss was Call of the Wild. Look at Gene Simmons with that little axe bass. I love it. Kiss was still ruling the world, selling out arenas in 85. Again, look at Kiss without their makeup. Look, no, it looks like a dress. Looks like Paul Stanley is wearing a dress and a gown like Mrs. Roper. Remember Mrs. Roper from Three's and Company? This looks like Mrs. Roper right here with brown hair. So I don't know what Paul Stanley was thinking of, or the costume designers for Kiss. But remember, they didn't want to be all leather. They've been there, done that. And hair metal in '85 was all the rage with makeup and big hair. So they had the big hair, but this was like weird outfits for Kiss. I'm just saying. Now look, if you wanted to be a video star, here's a contest where you submit, I guess, a video, and then you can be in a video or something like that if you want to be a video star. So that was, I want to be in a video, and you can be in a video, a music video. All right, we read your mail. So again, back in '85, no internet. So you would literally have to type it up on a typewriter or by pen, cursive or print, whatever your question was, fold it, put it in an envelope, label it, put a stamp on it, take it to your post office or leave it outside your mailbox so that the mailman takes it and then it delivers it, and hopefully your letter is published in this magazine, this particular issue. So you got lucky if you were published. So we read your mail. They rock. Armored Saint. I wasn't really a fan of Armored Saint back in the 80s, only because I wasn't exposed to Armored Saint. I heard of them. I just thought they were too heavy. That's how dumb I was. But when I started hearing Armored Saint in 2010, 2020, revisiting those old albums from the 80s, I'm a huge Armored Saint fan. I'm like, where the hell was I? I was always following these commercial bands, these commercial hair metal bands. I never thought about Armored Saint, or Cirith Ungol, or these obscure metal bands that were good, but they weren't like a Dokken, a Rat, or a Bon Jovi, or a Nightwish. They weren't like that. It was Armored Saint, and that's my bad. So I screwed up. I missed out on Armored Saint because they were good. Back in the 80s, they were really good. Armored Saint. Look at the little outfits right here. See the hair? This is 1985. Look at the hair. Look at the hair. All right, special offers. So these are just a little more advertisements right there. Look at Jeff Watson right there for promoting GH strings. You have Night Ranger's Choice. You got Brad Gillis. I don't know if it's their choice. Back then, they would say, here's some free strings for your whole band, for their whole tour. Just promote us. Okay, we got free strings. That's how it worked back then. And so look, and they just basically take a snapshot. Jeff Watson for GH strings, or Brad Gillis only plays the hits of Night Ranger on GHS strings. That's what they did to George Lynch too, with GHS boomers. And I went out and bought GHS boomers thinking I was going to play like George Lynch. But fortunately, I don't sound nothing like George Lynch. And when people ask me, Tony, who's your favorite guitar player? I always tell them it's Ace Frehley, because my whole influence was always Ace Frehley. Even though I don't sound like Ace Frehley, I don't sound like anybody. I don't play like anybody. So it's kind of hard to be a guitar player and have your own sound and style. I'm one of those guitar players that has their own sound and style, where I sound like nobody. So if you can do that, then you made it. I made it. And I had my time in the 80s. I sounded like me. So, but now that I'm almost 60, I've been there, done that. And it's great to say that I play like nobody. I sound like nobody. But my influence is Ace Frehley. That's my influence right there. So, all right, so here we go. Heavy metal happenings. Remember, this is 1985. I was 18 or 19 back then. So look at Rob Halford. Look at Dio. I don't know who that is. I can't read. See, that's a small print for me. I can't read it. Look, Jethro Tull, Under Wraps. So these are the latest happenings. So no internet. You would go to your bookstore, record store. You would open up these magazines, and you would come up to the heavy metal happenings and say, hey, they're on tour, or this new album's coming up, or they just recorded a video and we released real soon, or this band member has an injury, so there's a break in the tour. So this is where you got your news. And you would just basically read magazines without buying them. And if you really wanted to buy them, because of the inserts or the posters, or it was your favorite band, you would buy the magazine. But a lot of times people would just go to like 7-Eleven. I would always hit 7-Eleven in the 70s and 80s and look for Cream, Circus, and Hip Parader. Those 3 magazines I would always like, or Skateboarder, but that's where it was. Alright, Hip Parader's heavy metal heroes, like a Tony Iommi, again with his famous Gibson SG, like a Black Flag. I was never a fan of Black Flag. Now look at this advertisement. Radio 1990. Now this is 1985, March issue. And they're already talking about 1990. We're so far into the future, right? The Future Show on Air. USA. See, the future. Is that right? Oh, I'm sorry. The fastest show on air. See, my eyesight's bad. The fastest. I thought it was the future. Look at that. Radio 1990. And this sounds so far away when it's 1985. That's pretty cool. Look. Queensryche, Jeff Tate. Power and Glory. Look. Queensryche. Queen of the Rock. Look. We've never allowed ourselves to be limited by traditional heavy metal. That's Jeff Tate. We love Jeff Tate. We love it. Crocus. Now, Crocus was kind of corny. They were metal. They're good. But, I don't know. There's something that bugged me about Crocus. I remember they were on, I think, MTV? They were either on MTV or one of those FM radio TV shows that they show their concert late night on, like midnight or something like that. They aired a Crocus concert. I remember I was goofing on Crocus. But looking back, Crocus was good. Alright, look at these, look, Fame. See the Fame? Not a Fender, but look, they're trying to use the Fender logo font. And these are Fame guitars. Look at this. Looks like a Fender, right? But the headstock here is different. So they got away with it. That's a pretty good looking guitar right there. Fame guitar. Looks like a Fender, I thought so. Because of the F. That's how they get you. Right, again, this right here is Crocus. And, yeah, they were just weird. But they were a good band. They were just weird for me. Learn the art of recording. So if you wanted to record yourself, you can send money and they will send you like a catalog and you can record. Look, play a lead guitar like a star. Starlicks. Who didn't buy Starlicks or Metal Method? I did. I bought Starlicks, cassettes, videos. I also bought Metal Method. I remember bought all the Metal Methods. I started off with a Randy Rhoads one. They had an Eddie Van Halen one. They had an Yngwie Malmsteen one. Metal Method with Doug Marks. It was good. Alright, Blackfoot on the Warpath. I was never a fan of Blackfoot. Not that I didn't like them. I don't think I was ever exposed to Blackfoot. I heard of them. I don't think I ever heard a single album or song from Blackfoot. I said, hey, that's Blackfoot. Turn it up. I've never heard of Blackfoot. To this date, I don't think I've ever heard Blackfoot. But there they are in 85, making waves. So maybe I should, in 2025, 40 years later, maybe I should revisit and see what Blackfoot was sounding like in 1985. Maybe. Look, the heaviest of metal from Metal Blade Records. Oh, we love Metal Blade Records. Remember Metal Blade Records? This is 1985. You can go to your obscure record stores, Tower Records, Warehouse Records, Licorice Pizza Records, Sam Goody Records, FedMart, department stores. Montgomery Wards would have, JCPenney's would have a music department in there, and you would look for records. And I remember Metal Blade Records. Alright, Helix. I love Helix. Helix was a band, I remember, and Helix was good. Good band, good videos, great stage presence, great music. Helix is a fun band. Now look at Hip Parader with Ozzy Osbourne. So if you want back issues here, it just tells you how to go ahead. Look, no internet. So you got to cut this part out, fill it out. Here you can put MasterCard, whatever. No one did that. But you basically put your name and phone number, address, and then you mail a check for whatever they wanted for. And again, wait like 3 to 4 months to get your damn magazine in the mail. Alright, look. Iron Maiden in for the kill. Iron Maiden 1985. They're pretty much like top dog. Iron Maiden was up there with Scorpions, Van Halen, Twisted Sister. They were all headlining bands. And so that's when you had the smaller bands opening up. I think Rat was already headlining in 1985. Dokken was an opening band still. There was no Cinderella yet. Cinderella wasn't signed yet. Stryper was signed already. Brittany Fox wasn't signed yet. White Lion wasn't signed yet. So, That's pretty cool when you think back. Who was around in what year, what decade, and who was being signed. All right. So here's another picture of Iron Maiden. Here's some leather stuff right there. Of course, everybody knows about the big steal. For a cent, you would get X amount of tapes, and then you can stop any time. But if you didn't stop, they would send you a big bill. So they would send you, X amount of cassettes for so much money. But if you got to pay what was owed, now they got you for the full price or something like that. All right, celebrity rate a record. So we have Motorhead. I forgot all about Motorhead. So here's Motorhead reviewing records, rating them. Now look at this guitar, Metal Master H2 Metal Master. So only $223. Now back in 1985, that was a good price. $223. It's a good price today. This is the price that you would see for Guitar Gardens or Firefly. But look at this guitar. It's not a bad shape. It's a weird shape. This has a really big cut. Looks like possibly 24 frets right here. Sword, sleek metal, mean, hot as hell. H2. So it's the H2 with free case. But they show some woman wearing gloves playing this guitar. Your standard Fender bridge right there with a tremolo probably goes out of tune. This is weird. 2 single coil pickups. Not 3, but 2 single coils. So not a humbucker, but 2 single coils. I'll pass. But back then it looked killer. Remember, metal was all about the odd shapes and stuff. But look, different colors right here. Probably like a black, red, and a burgundy. Alright, metal. Okay, here we go. So this this magazine is all about the West Coast explosion. Why? Because that's when all the bands were playing at the Troubadour or the Whiskey or the Go-Go or Whiskey a Go-Go. All those bands right there. They were just going club after club after club. And the Rainbow. And they're all in the same block. So you had the Whiskey a Go-Go, the Troubadour, the Rainbow. So you'd play a few nights at this club. And then on your other nights, you play at this club. And you get your following and so forth and so on. And all these bands. Can you imagine? Before they were signed, if you saw Cinderella, Brittany Fox, Warrant, playing the clubs on the Strip. They weren't signed yet. Imagine they weren't discovered yet, and they weren't signed yet. And they're just basically saying, please notice us, please notice us. Oh, all those bands. And then, that must have been awesome to see a young Rat playing those clubs. A young Dawkins playing those clubs before they were signed. So that's awesome. Alright, so this is by design. They put a magazine, a blanket over here. See right there? So for whatever reason, they have a blanket right here in this issue. So maybe it's like, look, it looks like George Lynch, doesn't it? Looks like George Lynch, but maybe something here is bad. Alright, so here we have ink-made mounts for DiMarzio pickups. So look at this little pose, the little dangling right there. See? The outfit right here was the Richie Blackmore outfit. Remember I told you all black? That was Richie Blackmore. Alright, here we go, Y&T. Y&T is an underrated band, heavy band. Great singer, guitar player, and songwriter. Y&T, Yesterday and Today, that band is awesome. King of the Dead. Talk about King of the Dead. Right, Black and Blue, The New Breed. Now, this band should have been bigger than they were. For whatever reason, they had like 2 or 3 albums and they broke up. I don't know why they broke up, but I'll have to delve into it. But Black and Blue was good. They have a live, there's a live video out there of 1984 of their show in Tokyo. Black and Blue in Tokyo. It's a great show. It's just your basic heavy metal. For whatever reason, they didn't explode. But they were good. Black and Blue was good. I love Black and Blue. Pick Hit, White Sister. Now here's a band that I never heard of. Back in 1985, they were trying to pump a band called White Sister. The LA Metal Songs, or the LA Metal Siege continues with White Sister. Shooting Star. So look, Madam X, Did they ever make it big? No. Honeymoon Suite. I got a new girl now. They did make it big, somewhat big, but that hit brought them out of the shadows, and then they had some good success after that hit. You can say they're a one-hit wonder, but they were good for about 2-3 years. Honeymoon Suite. Look, White Wolf. Now think about it. You have White Lion, so I guess White Lion was starting to make some noise in the clubs. Okay, we're going to call ourselves White Wolf. Yeah, that's kind of lame, right? White Wolf, White Lion, White Tiger, What's next? You know, White Horses. That's dumb. Lionheart. Now, Lionheart got big. Not big, but they were popular towards the late 80s. So this is 85. I would say by 88, 89, Lionheart came out. Madam X, I didn't know too much. I'm sure they have an album out or whatever. But out of these shooting stars, Honeymoon Suite and Lionheart were the two bands that made it somewhat. They made it out of that little nightclub. These two bands made it out of the club scene and onto MTV and on and on. That's what I remember. Alright, the Metal Wizard, Jimmy Page. Again, the classic double neck Gibson SG right here. It just looks so heavy. I wouldn't mind playing it, but I don't know if I want to own one, because unless you have it out all day, it's just too big. It's too cumbersome. So, the Metal Wizard, Jimmy Page. So, Led Zeppelin, they're trying to, get them back together in 1985. I think they did get back together for for Live Aid. Remember Live Aid? Led Zeppelin did reunite for Live Aid. So I think they were trying to get them back. Because remember, 2 years later, you had Kingdom Come saying, hey, if there's no Led Zeppelin, we're going to be the new Led Zeppelin, Kingdom Come. Or, as George Lynch called them, Kingdom Clone. Get it? Alright, Armored Saint. Again, that's my loss, but Armored Saint kicks ass. Now I have all their albums. Every album of Armored Saint, and I love it. The guitar player is awesome. The music is great. It's heart-thumping, pounding. Armored Saint, I love it. Again, I told you, I have every album of every metal artist from the 80s. So just name a band, I have all their albums. They're on my iPod. Where's my iPod? It's in my car. It's in my car. My little iPod is in my car with all the metal bands. I'll show it to you. One of these videos, I'll show you my iPod with all the bands, all the heavy metal bands, and all their albums. It's a treasure of mine. Look, Rat, Out of Control. 1985, they were already on top of the world. Rat, Warren DeMartini. Remember 1985, Rat, I think it was Out of the Cellar, maybe? Or Invasion of Your Privacy. That one came out with Under Lock and Key. And I remember listening to Under Lock and Key and Rat. At the same time, I'm like, God, that sounds like George Lynch. Oh my God, that sounds like Warren DeMartini. By 1985, Warren on record and George Lynch on record were indistinguishable. They had the same pinch harmonics, same vibrato, same lick phrasing, and it was awesome. 1985 was amazing for George Lynch and Warren DeMartini. And then by 86, 87, Warren did his own thing to separate himself from George, but George is still doing his own thing to separate himself from everybody else. But in 1985, I just remember listening to a Rat album. God, that sounds like Lynch. I love it. And then listening to a George Lynch album. Oh my God, that sounds like Warren DeMartini. And I loved it. I loved it. All right. And not to take any credit away from Robin Crosby. Poor Robin Crosby. All right, Stephen Pearcy. Look at this. Oh, look at this awesome post. See? Now, people would cut this out right here. They would cut it out. You can upload it to YouTube. Have a thumbnail with this. Look at this pose. Isn't that awesome? See what I was telling you back in my earlier videos? Guitar players will put like a bandana, or not bandana, some type of wrap around their arm, and it would dangle. Or a wrap around the headstock, and it would dangle. A wrap around their waist, and it would dangle. A wrap around the bottom of the guitar, and it would dangle. Just so that when they're walking, there's something waving or dangling, and it just looked really cool. I love it. Or around your neck, like Akira Takasaki, and it would dangle like the long scarf. That was a look. Alright, see now look. 1985, in 1985, you would cut the staples here. You would cut the staples, right? In 1985, you would cut the staples, and this would be a pinup right here. This would be a pinup right here. So that's pretty cool, huh? You can pin it up. All right, David Lee Roth. Look, I love the little bandana look. Doesn't that look good? That little bandana. And look, bandana right here. So that was all the rage in 1985. You just wore layers. I think there's a blue bandana, and then here's the red bandana. I've done that before. If you look on Fast Times Ridgemont High, when they're in class, Mr. Spicoli, they're talking about the Platt Amendment. One of the girls in there, she's wearing like a baby blue bandana, and either a pink bandana or a yellow bandana. But it looked really cool. 2 layers of bandanas. So one of these videos, I'm going to start wearing 2 layers of bandanas and see how it looks. I'll do that. Maybe I'll put some eyeliner, some makeup, so you can see how it looks, and then we can go, Tony, where's your long hair? Look, Tony, what happened to your hair? Oh, I cut my hair. If you want me to do videos on my hair, let me know. I'll gladly do a tutorial on my hair. So I love cutting my hair. I cut my hair every 2 weeks. Doesn't it look good? Look. Doesn't it look good? Look, doesn't my hair look good? Look. You're all, Tony, what does this have to do with the hit parader in 1985? All right, what's next? All right, look at this. Motley Crue. Now, here's Vince Neil, supposedly naked behind this chick. And then look at this bass right here. Look at this bass. Look at Nikki Sixx with his little mascara right. Oops. With his little mascara right there. And his, look, the stockings right there with the little tear. So Motley Crue speaks out. So Motley Crue in 1985 was all the rage. Here's a nice group shot of Motley Crue. Oh, look. Now look. Leaving Motley Crue. Right here. Metal Method. I don't know how much he spent to be advertised in every single issue. Guitar player, circus, cream, hit parader. But this pose got your attention. This guitar, Randy Rhoads had already passed away. This is the closest you're going to get to Randy Rhoads ever again, was looking at this guitar. And when you saw this Flying V, you knew it was a Jackson, and you knew it was a Randy Rhoads Flying V. And Randy Rhoads had passed. You're never going to see those guitars again, ever, right? Unless you look at a magazine. But here's Doug Marks with an awesome metal pose with a Randy Rhoads iconic Jackson Flying V. So you're naturally going to look at, all right, he's going to have Randy Rhoads, Van Halen, Eric Clapton. He's going to have Brian May. He's going to have all these guitar licks of your favorite guitar players, Yngwie. And if you send him some money, you're going to get a cassette tape, some tabs. You're going to hear the lick play regular speed, slow, and regular speed. I love Metal Method. I wish I had it, but it was good. Metal Method, I wish I still had my tapes. But yeah, Metal Method was great to learn guitar. It was fun. All right, AC/DC, 1985. They were big. They were huge. Again, the Gibson SG. Nice group shot right here. And they answer readers' mail. Isn't that pretty cool? All right, import albums. So, again, you would go to the record store and you would go to the record... Oops, not right. You would go to the record store and you would open up these magazines and see what the latest import albums were being released by what band and when. And this would give you like a little tidbit. And then some of the magazines had like a touring schedule. Like coming soon to your city. And it would have Def Leppard. It would have all these tour dates. And then that's where like, okay, then you call Ticketmaster or whoever sold tickets and you buy the tickets. All right, Jim Dandy. All right, in the man, is this man David Lee Roth's father? Okay, so I did a whole video on Van Halen review, analyze Van Halen live, and I was like, Mark Torian. Mark Torian copied David Lee Roth, or David Lee Roth copied Mark Torian. Mark Torian of the Bullet Boys. I'm just goofing because I know Mark Torian was a fan of David Lee Roth. But when Bullet Boys came out, immediate comparisons with Mark Torian and David Lee Roth. And so there I was, having fun. Oh, look, David Lee Roth is copying Mark Torian. And then people were like, oh, You can copy Martorian. If anything, David Lee Roth copied Jim Dandy. Well, this is a guy, Jim Dandy, back in 74, 75, 76, that David Lee Roth copied. I think he asked him for permission if he could use some of his moves. But the way David Lee Roth moved in the early 70s on stage with his jumps and his moves and so forth, apparently he got it from Jim Dandy, or he was influenced heavily by Jim Dandy. So this article is a collector's article, and it talks about basically how David Lee Roth owes his stage presence, his early stage persona, with the bends and the looks and the posings and so forth, to Jim Dandy. Got the long hair, he's sleek, and the way he moved and lifted up his legs. And so Jim Dandy that's what they're saying, is this the father of David Lee Roth? So that's where Jim Dandy came from. Look at Twisted Sister. I love Twisted Sister. Now these guys didn't look like women. These guys were very masculine men just wearing women's makeup. Poison, on the other hand, were men trying to look like women on that poster, on that album cover of Poison. Heavy makeup. They look beautiful. They look great. But they were looking like women. Now when Motley Crue puts on makeup, they're just putting on women's makeup, but they still look like dudes. So, but Motley Crue's fun. It's a fun band. Check out Motley Crue live on YouTube. There's lots of old concert footage on YouTube of Motley Crue. I'm sorry, Twisted Sister. I take it back. I was looking at Motley Crue. Twisted Sister. There's a lot of old photos. A lot of good footage of Twisted Sister live from the 80s and late 70s. Live performance of Twisted Sister. Check them out. They're a lot of fun. Stay Hungry, I think it was. Alright, Sound Barrier. Breaking New Ground. So this is the band right here. Breaking New Ground, Sound Barrier. Again, here's some more paraphernalia. You want some clothes or items or stuff like that? There you go. We're almost winding down this issue. Again, Quiet Riot, Light Camera Action. Kevin Dubrow and Carlos Cavazos. By 1985, they weren't as big as they were obviously in 82, 83, but they were still making hits and they were still relevant. 1985. So Quiet Riot was still selling out arenas, and they were headlining. They started headlining really fast. Quiet Riot. The Scorpions. What can you say? Everybody here is talented. Great songwriting. Great band. Great music. A lot of great hits. And the guitar players complement each other with the rhythm. Memorable rhythms and lead guitar playing with Matthias Jabs, Rudolf Schenker. The Scorpions never disappointed. They did a lot of ballads, good hit ballads, and they had a lot of good, raunchy, hard, heavy metal. So the Scorpions were good. There he is when he was younger. Look at this equipment. Instrumentally speaking, here's a nice keyboard here. And this is what? Module? I don't know what this is, but you know what it is? Go ahead and comment. So this must be a synthesizer and some type of recording module. Again, more musical instrument. So tell me what this is. I can't read that far. Obviously, here's a synthesizer. It looks like a synthesizer. And then here's a 4-track. I guess it's a 4-track or some type of recording device. Here's some satin jackets, and they're having fun. Another mixing console right here. Here's some drum kit right there. Here's some back issues of Hit Parader. Again, snail mail. Cut this out. Name, phone number, address, zip code. Mail out a check. Mark which episodes, which issues you want. And then basically you're going to wait like 3-4 months to get your magazine in the mail. But you were really happy when you got it. Alright, look at Def Leppard, the Price of Fame. They shot up huge. Their first 2 albums were like kind of like, alright. But MTV brought them to stardom. Pyromania, Quiet Riot, Mental Health, Motley Crue, Shout at the Devil. Those 3 albums, those 3 bands defined metal back in fall of 82, spring of 83, and then you had the US Festival. Dio, Ronnie James Dio with Vivian Campbell. Perfect band right there. And great music. Tom Peterson, Turning the Trick with Tom Peterson. former Cheap Trick bassist returns to the rock scene. Alright, so he's doing something here by himself, but there he is, Tom Peterson. Behind the lines, so for whatever reason this is all blacked out. Here's the song index if you want to get some lyrics. These are the lyrics right there. Again, here's some more song lyrics. Some more I saved money on this guitar. There's a BC Rich. So if you want to get a catalog for some cheap guitars, there you go. Here's some more advertisements. More lyrics. Rock licks leads. So here's a video. Look, so you're going to buy a VHS tape and they're showing you the fret. See, there's someone's fingers right there showing you a bar chord. So if you mail this coupon, whatever it is, plus some money, you're going to get a video of rock licks. Now, if you want to look metal going to a concert, you can buy these types of gloves, look, with little spikes or no spikes, or a big gap or no gap. And that's what, you would wear. Billy Idol. Look at this weird guitar right here. There's a nice little case. And so on. What else? Kicks. More advertisements. Here's some straps. Some metal straps like a la Judas Priest. Some more advertisements there. Alright, more advertisements here. Back then, this is where you can order bootlegs. They're offering merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts of your favorite bands, keychains, of your favorite metal bands and so forth. More back issues right there. Remember this? This was in every magazine. TV guides, whatever, magazine covers. Draw these and you can become an artist. T-shirts and posters. Again, more lyrics, t-shirts and posters. Smash hits. So if you want to learn some new songs, look. Now this looks like J.K. Lee. Why not go for it all? So if you want to learn, see, they're showing the guy with long hair playing like a Les Paul, doing these two-handed tappings or whatever. So if you want to learn two-handed tapping, you have to pay for this, whatever they're selling. Again, just all random advertisements. Look at the advertisements back in 1985. Look at this. Look, play guitar. Look, it shows some bitch here with acoustic guitar. Look, some bitch. Look at the bitch. And she's smiling. Alright, now remember that guitar I was showing you in another issue with Doug Marks? Carbon? Look at this one. The Ultimate Weapon. Craig Chiquito of Carbon. So Craig Chiquito of Jefferson Starship. Now this guitar is cool. Look at this. It's like a reverse star. That's weird. But it's not bad. You got these cream colored pickups here. This looks like a Kaler, because I don't think there was any Floyd Rose on Carbon. So this may be like a Carbon tremolo or a Kaler tremolo. He's got a little rock pose. Well, he's a pretty good guitar player. When he did it with Jefferson Starship, he was a good guitar player. This guitar is badass. So I like it. I like this guitar. It's nice. I wouldn't mind having this guitar. But for whatever reason, Carbons are expensive. So, alright, heavy metal happenings. So if you want to get these past issues, you'll get the latest heavy metal happenings. And alright, they broke out in 1984, 1985. Sign in Peace. Is that what it said? Sign in Please. Autograph with their second album, Turn Up the Radio. See, they only had that one big hit wonder, Turn Up the Radio. When it put them on the map in 1984, it was all over the radio. You would turn it up, and it was good. You have Autograph. What? Let me see. Alright, I had to take a little pause right there. Alright, so here is the back of the magazine, Autograph, featuring their new album, Sign In Please. Alright, so that was the issue of March 1985, the West Coast Metal Explosion. What do you remember most of 1985, the bands of 1985? For me, 1985 was a very special year. I got to see a lot of bands live. I was totally into guitar. I was totally into Jordan Lynch back in 1985. Under Lock and Key came out. Invasion of Your Privacy, I believe, was out with Rat. MTV was in full flourish. Metal. It was so much fun. And I just remember going to concerts, going to my friend's house, jamming with them, with their band, and just basically learning licks off each other. You play in front of your friend, he takes the guitar from you, he plays some licks, and then you take the guitar back and forth, show me that, show me this. What did you learn? What did I learn? It was just so much fun. In 1985, learning the latest Ozzy, Judas Priest, Van Halen, the latest songs. So you can show your friend, look what I learned. No way, you can play, I don't know, by Ozzy Osbourne. Well, check this out. I can play You Really Got Me. Or I can play Ultimate Sin. I can play, it was always back and forth. What did you learn? Oh, I learned these 2 songs. I learned these licks. I learned the solo for this. It was just I learned loudness. It was just so much fun. 1985. Oh, 40 years ago. Can you imagine that? Were you alive back then, 40 years ago? If you're young here, 1985 was a great year. The 80s was a wonderful decade. And I think 2025 is going to be an even great year overall. You stick around. All right. I'm Tony. Thanks for watching and joining me for this wonderful issue of March 1985, taking you back to 80s heavy metal. We love 80s metal. That's why we're here. And again, any questions, comments, or feedback, leave them below. And you have any other issues or magazines you want me to cover, let me know. And stay tuned for more videos like this. And I'll surprise you with more content like this. Thanks, everybody. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell. And thanks for joining me. And it's good to be with you all. And just stay tuned for more guitar tones, concert reviews. And we're going to basically flip through some old vintage magazines that many of you don't remember or remember. But we're going to revisit the 80s because this channel is all about the 80s. All right. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you all in the next video.